Whenever a guy tries to ghost me, I don't even let the ghost. I don't let the ghost disappear. I pull him back and go, not me. I'm done. Me, I'm dumping you. Me, I am dumping you.
I saw him first. He's all mine. You can't have him. No, I saw him first. I saw him first. I saw him first. Now have several seats.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my podcast. This is your host Angie, and this is episode 51. I hope by the time this comes out, it hasn't been too long since the last episode. I am trying, you guys. I'm trying to be as consistent as I can, but life be lifing, and I don't get paid for this, okay? I don't get paid for this. I have to mind the business that pays me, but I do really enjoy podcasting, so I want to try harder to be more consistent. Anyway, as you can tell by the title, this will be a very interesting conversation. I'm hoping it doesn't go down the line of better trash, because that's not the intention for today's episode. I was just inspired by seeing very similar posts on Reddit about literally almost the same things. You know, what am I doing wrong? How do I get a man to be, in love with me? Someone literally phrased that, like, what is it that men see in me that makes them want to play me? Is there some kind of signal I'm giving out that men don't take me seriously? Like, what is the reason? Why am I still single? Why am I finding dating so hard? What can I do to just get a man to treat me right? Essentially, it's been the theme of all these posts I've been seeing, and it's just triggered me, because I'm just like, I want to just tell them, girl, it's not you, it's them. But before we get into it today, I want to remind you that I am on Instagram. Go follow at I Saw Him First Podcast. And I am on TikTok at I Saw Him First Podcast as well. If you're watching on Spotify, hi, please subscribe so that you can get notified when I have a new episode. And if you're watching on YouTube, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe and comment and share and get the word out there if you really, really enjoy today's podcast. And if you don't, just give it a thumbs up before you leave, okay? Just do something. All right, let's get started. So I'm going to put this post up on the screen. I'm going to remove any identifiers. The title of this post reads, "What am I doing wrong with men?" Literally, what am I doing wrong with men? She says, "I'm 28 female and I got ghosted by someone 34 male and I thought things were going well." First of all, 34, respect yourself. At 34, you're still ghosting. At 34, you still don't know what you want. I'm sorry. It's given immature. It's given underdeveloped. It's given emotionally unavailable. It's given so many things it's not supposed to give at that age. Come on now. 34. That's what you would expect from a 24-year-old or even a 14-year-old. Mostly 14-year-olds are not on the apps. I would hope not. But from an 18-year-old, like, ghosting, come on, like a 34-year-old, you would think, oh, maybe if I date older. I literally had this conversation with a few people from work. One of them asked me what my age range was, and I said 34. And he said, why? I said, actually, it used to be 30 when I was 24. And then as soon as I turned 25, I bumped it up by 4, and I was like, 34, I think, is the max I want to go. He asked why. I said, I don't really know, but I don't want to go older than that, because in my head, I'm like, why is a 35-year-old into me? Like, a 35-year-old should be dating someone his age, someone who is in the same, life path, or how do I even say, not life path, the same position as him in life, the same I don't, what's the right word? You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? Someone who's at the same stage of life as you are, you would expect a 35-year-old to want to date someone at least 27 and older, 28, 29, 30. So if a 35-year-old is interested in me, a 25-year-old, like, it's giving red flags, because I'm going to be thinking, what are you trying to avoid? Surely you're trying to date younger, that much younger, because you're trying to avoid some kind of responsibility of maybe settling down, having kids, things that people in the 30s are very much willing and able to do. You know what I mean? Things that people in their 30s, women in their 30s, are probably, in a mindset of getting there, probably thinking about marriage and kids. And this man in their mid to late 30s is still running away from those responsibilities. It's just so icky. It's so icky. And in my head, obviously there's extenuating circumstances. Imagine if I met someone on the street or at a party and I vibed with, and they turned out to be 35. I think that's different from swiping on the app and choosing a 35-year-old, or vice versa. It's different from if this guy met me somewhere and thought, oh, she's really cute, and then later found out I'm younger than, ideal, than if this guy was swiping on the dating app and then intentionally chose a 25-year-old. But anyway, I say this to say, that's my mindset. I expect people in their mid to late 30s to just somewhat have their shit together. You would think, right? No. Clearly, maybe I should expand, because if a 34-year-old is ghosting, come on now. Do you get what I mean? Like, let's just get this over with. Let's read the rest of it. So she said, started dating this guy in June, so it's August now, 2 months ago. Went on 3 dates plus phone calls and texts. First of all, why are you calling me and texting me if you're not interested? It's so unnecessary. Like, the time and effort it takes to be on the phone, I have things to do. I could be watching TV, I could be recording this podcast, I could be just lying down staring into the abyss, I could be listening to a podcast, I could be on the streets wandering, getting my hot girl summer walk, even though the weather has been shit, so it's not giving summer at the moment in the UK. But I could literally be doing anything, hanging out with my friends, but instead I'm sat on the phone with you, only for you to ghost. Do you get what I mean? Like, make it make sense. I feel like I'm getting warm because I'm actually triggered. Anyway. Right, let's start again. Started dating this guy in June, went on 3 dates plus phone calls and texts, kept in touch during a 2-week long vacation. So she went on vacation for 2 weeks and he managed to keep in touch for 2 weeks. This podcaster I really like, Jared Freed, always says, beware of birthdays, vacations, holidays, because in the US, holidays are more like public holidays, and the vacations are like our holiday in the UK when you take time off work to go somewhere. But anyway, it's like beware of death, birthdays, vacations, holidays, and what was it? There's something else. I don't know, something else. Because it's usually when guys choose to bail. It's usually when they, ghost. But this guy kept in touch throughout her 2-week vacation. So maybe it's the other way around. Maybe they tend to ghost when they're going on their 2-week vacation. But anyway, I came back with COVID and cancelled our plans to go see the new Barbie movie. Oh, okay. So the plan to see Barbie, she cancelled because she had COVID. He said we were still going to go. He texted me on Friday to see how things were going. I texted him saying I felt better, asking him to send me a song if he could. In brackets, she wrote, we bonded over music. No reply. On Saturday, I asked him if everything was okay. No reply. This morning, I texted him saying I hoped it was okay. Radio silence. So right, Friday, I think this post was up on Tuesday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. What could you possibly be doing for, unless someone died? I feel like that is the only explanation for this ridiculousness, if that's a word. Unless someone died, you have no reason to ignore me for, what's 24 hours times 4. Do the maths. 96, I don't know. Unless you're dying, or someone else in your family or your friends, unless someone is dying, unless there's been a tragic incident, there's no reason for a guy you're dating to ignore you for over 48 hours. That's just unacceptable. Do you get what I mean? She goes, what the fuck? This sucks. I know. I really didn't expect this from him. I've been ghosted before, so this isn't new to me, but it still hurts nonetheless. The fact that she's been ghosted countless times already is just like, I just want to give her a hug. Like, I just feel bad for her. It's so ghetto out here in the streets. I'm done with it. I'm tired. Anyway, she said, he has expressed interest. He said he cared for me and that he was thinking on how we could be better and how he could be better for me, and that I was lovely. All before my trip. First of all, I don't even understand why someone you've been on 3 dates is thinking about how it can be better for you. Like, you should be better for yourself. You should be already better. I don't want to. I mean, like, over time, I want to rub off on you to the point where you're just naturally a better person, or, you know, I want you to want to be better naturally, if that makes sense. Like, over time, you know, when you like someone, you want to do great by them, you want to do good by them, I guess. But you've been on 3 dates. Why is he saying this shit about he wants to be better for you? That's already love bomby, in my opinion. It's Chinese shit. Oh god, I don't know. Literally, I've seen like 4 posts about this, well, similar posts like this in the past week, and every time I just read it, I get agitated, and you can probably tell from my tone. Anyway, so she then said, maybe I calm off. This is the part that triggered me the most. So this guy has done something shitty, and rather than just going, right, not for me, boy, bye, thank you, next, throw him in the bin, she's now turned it inwards and tried to blame herself. Her last paragraph was one that actually just broke my heart for her, right? She said, maybe I come off too excited too soon, or maybe I'm too nice, or they feel pressured. I don't know how to just pretend to be aloof and detached. You shouldn't have to pretend to be aloof and detached. You shouldn't have to play games. That's why I don't like all these TikToks and YouTube videos about how to get a man to love you.
You want a man to be attracted to you.
This is how to get someone to fucking obsess over you.
Ladies, the best way to get a guy to like you for the girls who are fucking toxic.
Guys, I swear I wanted to gatekeep this so bad because it's my method. And if ever girls start...
If you want a guy to come running back to you,
this is how to get a guy to like you.
These are my tips for the girls on how to get a guy to like you back.
How do you seduce a man?
About how to be, I don't know, like tips and tricks, and how to basically act uninterested, or what's the word? There's a word that they use. Basically, like trying to act like you don't care. If you're having to act like you don't care, you already care too much, for starters. Do you get what I mean? And secondly, you shouldn't have to play these stupid games. It really should just be smooth and easy with the right person, especially this early on in the game. I know everyone says it, and I haven't experienced it yet. So I'm not just saying it because, you know, I found my dream man, so I know. Do you get what I mean? I'm not saying this from some kind of hindsight 2020. You know, I'm saying it from a sense of, I know. I just feel like it really shouldn't be this hard. You shouldn't have to convince anyone into liking you. You shouldn't have to pretend to not care. You shouldn't have to not be nice. You shouldn't have to stop being a decent human being for someone to treat you right. If they're, you know, less interested because you're so nice, if they're less interested because you're a good person, because you're not giving them a hard time, because you're not playing these useless games, because you're not hot and cold, then they're the problem. They have a problem. You know what I mean? Like, they're the problem. They have some kind of psychological, you know, thing wrong with them that's making them attracted to chaos. That's what it is. If you're attracted to chaos, there's a problem. You should see a therapist. You know what I mean? And most times there's loads of videos about how it's tied to your childhood and how you've perceived love and how people feel like they have to work for it. I mean, it's also psychology. We appreciate things that we've worked for a lot more than things that we feel like we've gotten very easily. But saying that, I don't want to have to work hard for someone's love. You shouldn't have to work hard for someone's love. You should be inherently loved. You should be loved for who you are. You deserve love just by, you know, the virtue of being. You should just be loved, period. And sure, things like attraction come into the play, but taking the attraction out of it, Why shouldn't you be loved? What, because you've got flaws? So, everyone has a flaw. Everyone. There's no one in this entire world that has no flaws. There's no one. So just get that out of your head, thinking, oh, maybe if I was more beautiful, maybe if I was, whatever it is, richer, guys don't really care about that, so maybe scrap that. Maybe if I was prettier, taller, slimmer, if I smiled more, if I didn't text him so often, if I didn't call him so often. I mean, there's a difference between obsessiveness and neediness and just wanting affection and communication and connection. That's normal. To want someone you're dating to call you, that's absolutely normal. To want someone you're dating to text you regularly, you're not asking for too much. Okay. And I know that because I know what men are like when they like somebody. I mean, you've probably heard loads of podcasts about these guys that date one girl for 9 years. And they're always like, oh, it's not that I don't love you. I just don't think I'm ready for marriage. Why do you even need the title? Then they break up. Next thing you know, they're engaged to someone they just met 2 months ago. And they'll tell you, if you know, it just felt right. I'm going to do another podcast about what men have told me, married men have told me about how they decided their partners are the one. This is going to be a really interesting one. I asked a couple of men. I was just trying to get more responses from men that are married or in long-term partnerships. But I've got, I think, 3 responses at the moment. And I'm going to make a whole video, maybe title it something like 5 men tell me how they knew their partners were the one or something like that. I don't know. If you know kind of concept, referring back to my last video, go watch it if you haven't. But I'm just saying, like, it really shouldn't be this hard. There's no reason for you to ghost someone if you're not interested. And you know what? Ghosting should only be done like early on. Why are you telling me you like me? If you're ghosting me and you've told me you like me before, you're a devil. Because you should ghost someone you don't give a F about, someone you don't give a shit about. You shouldn't tell someone you like them and then ghost them. You don't like them, you're lying, you're a fraud. If you don't like someone, it's fine to just be like, actually, this is not working out. But when you say shit like, oh, I like you so much, I want to be better for you, only to disappear. Like, how awful can you possibly be? I speak on behalf of all the women that have been ghosted. And luckily for me, I haven't. Whenever a guy tries to ghost me, I don't even let the ghost. I don't let the ghost disappear. I pull him back and go, not me. I'm done. Me, I'm dumping you. Me, I am dumping you. There is one incident I can think of off the back of my head, because there hasn't been that much ghosting for me, luckily. But there was this guy I went on 3 dates with, actually. I guess 3 is the defining number for these people. But I had a great time. I don't even remember much. I don't know if he told me he liked me or not. But I just got the sense that this boy was not in it for the right reasons. I just had the sense of, he just wants the cookie. And I'm like, no, you don't deserve it, okay? I see through all your bullshit. So I was just like, if that's all he's after, he's gonna wait a very, very long time, because he's not gonna get it. He's gonna get so tired of waiting and he's gonna F off. And he didn't even wait that long, luckily. He got so impatient very quickly, which is great. Great for me. But anyway, so went on the 3rd date, texted him when I got home saying I got him safe. I don't know if I've told this story before my podcast, but anyway, texted him saying I've got home safe now. Crickets, nothing. And I just kept laughing because it's not me. I am not the one. I'm not the one you're gonna mess with like this. Anyway, so the Sunday now, the all of Sunday goes by. So Sunday night, I reach out to him on Instagram, since he wants to be active on Instagram, and I said to him, I was like, come here, come closer, come. Can you hear me very clearly? And I said to him, I am no longer interested. I'm done with this bullshit. I'm like, I told you from day one, from the first date, I don't want games. I'm just not into it. I'm too old for that. So the fact that now you're trying to play games with me, it's a big turn off, and I'm out. Just want to tell you, it's done. And guess what? It didn't even take 2 minutes. The girl's like, oh yeah, you're a great girl, but yeah, I was gonna say too, I'm not interested. No, you weren't, you liar. You were gonna ghost because you think you're that shit. You think you're worth like pining over or after. I don't know which is the right vocabulary here, but it's the fact that they think they're all that. And first of all, if this girl somehow, probably not, somehow listens to this podcast or finds this clip, she should just know that she has to dump him. Again, this advice is from Jared Freed, one of my favorite podcasters and comedians. And he's got a special out on Netflix on August 15 called 37 and Single. He's had a lot of life experiences and dating experiences, so it's worth taking advice from someone who's 37 and single. Hopefully, he knows what he wants by now. But anyway, he gave this advice. It's like, you have to dump them or break up with them. Like, why? Ghosting is only ghosting on one end. The other person would just say it fizzled. So you don't wait for them to ghost you. If you feel like someone is trying to play games with you, if someone isn't being transparent and sincere, you tell them to buzz off. You tell them, I'm done with you. I'm not interested. This is a big turn off. I'm not playing games. I'm not playing these games with you. At the end of the day, if he wants to, he will. I don't want to say cliche lines, but the guy, oh my god. So if you listen to my last video, which now I think is over a month old when I recorded it, but it only came out not long ago. The one titled, If You Know, You Know. I mentioned how there was a guy I was dating. At the time I said I'm dating, and it's been a month of me dating this guy, and every single day it's been consistent with the text. Usually in the morning it will be like a good morning text, and he will send a good night text. And I said in the video, if there was ever a day when I didn't get any text, I was going to be like, oh, what's going on, right? Because when a man wants you, you would know. Every time people have to question how someone feels about them, it's never a good sign. And even though this guy never failed to text me every single day, it got to a point when the text, frequency was deteriorating. And I was like, sir, excuse me, sir. What's going on? And at the time, he basically, all the excuses in the book. Although in this case, it wasn't an excuse because this guy was job hunting, so I got it. But the point is, it was job hunting when I met him. And guess what? It would still text me good morning, good night, and throughout the day. I would wake up to good morning texts. Do you get what I mean? This was when he was chasing. This was when he was excited. This was when he was actively chasing. This was when he wanted it. This was when he wanted me. This was when he was into me, like actively pursuing. Do you get what I mean? And when this wavered, in my head, I went, right, so one, it's either just a natural, decline when you get to know someone, you don't feel like you have that much to talk about as much as the beginning, or your interest has just gone down. I feel like that's how men operate. And then I called it out, and things got better for a while. The text got better, the frequency got better. We saw each other a few more times until this guy called me one day, which I actually appreciate, to say, I didn't even ask though, but he would just call me to say, I'm not ready, something about I'm not ready for, you said you wanted something meaningful, like a meaningful relationship, and I just don't think I'm ready for that. Like physically, I don't have the time, or I'm not willing to put in that much time. I just want to do things by me at the moment. And fair point, job hunting plus, there was a death in his family. Speaking of death being extenuating circumstances, so I completely got it. But the point is, when you wanted to, it did it. Prior to the death, nothing changed besides the point that he wasn't willing to invest as much as it was at the start. And that's what I'm saying about if he wanted to, he will. When a man's interest deteriorates, you should opt out of that situationship as well. You should be uninterested. You should be turned off. You shouldn't be thinking, oh, what am I doing wrong? You've done nothing wrong, babe. You've been the same from the start. Unless you genuinely think you've done something wrong, unless you've genuinely thought to yourself, oh, maybe I was talking about my ex on the date, maybe I was rude to him, maybe I called him 20 times in one day when he didn't reply my text. Like, if you've been genuinely psycho, then that's like different. But if you've been dating someone, she said 3 dates, she's been, the Redditor has been dating this guy for 2 months or over a month, and they've been on 3 dates and he ghosted. And it's just like, you didn't do anything wrong. You're not too nice. You're not too interested. You don't need to act aloof. It's just like not that into you. It's just not interested anymore. It's not willing to put in the effort anymore. And that has nothing to do with you. That has everything to do with him. Referring it back to me, because, I'm the star of the show. This is my podcast. This guy had the same job hunting on his plate from day one. Since the day I met him, on the first date, he told me, oh, I'm looking for a new job. So that job hunting has been on his plate from the very first date, and he still found all this time. This guy planned a second date that was like 10:30 a.m. with me, because he already had plans for the rest of the weekend. But he still wanted to see me. If he wanted to, he would. And this is the same guy that almost 2 months later said, actually, I don't want to anymore. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's not you. Have I changed? No, I'm still the most prettiest girl in the room. I'm still the smartest, the brightest, the cutest, the bestest. Nothing's changed about me. I'm still the same girl. Have I been nice to him? Yes. Have I shown interest in him? Yes. Have I been aloof and disconnected and acting uninterested? No. Those are games I'm not willing to play, because I'm not a child. I'm a grown-ass woman. You're a grown-ass woman. You shouldn't have to play these games. And if this guy was interested, what would he do? Continue to be consistent. Continue to text. Continue to call. So just take this as a sign of disinterest. As much as it hurts, you don't have to like everybody. Not everyone's gonna like you. The problem here is not that the guy is uninterested. It's that he chose to ghost you and now left you to blame yourself.
It's him, it's the problem, it's him, it's him, it's him.
Nothing's wrong with you. And you're probably not listening, but I'm sure there's someone who's listening right now who's gone through similar things. The fact that this girl has gone through something that 5-6 other girls are complaining about, and even I have a story to share, just shows like, you're not an anomaly. You're not the only one having a hard time in the dating game, in the dating world. It's just really shit out there at the moment. And until we find our Prince Charming, we just have to keep kissing these frogs. Maybe from far away, maybe air kisses, because I'm tired. My lips are tired, okay? Anyway, I'm going to end it here before I go on another rant for Lord knows how long. I hope you guys have enjoyed this podcast, and if you have, share it with someone who's going through a hard time right now with dating. I hope the next time I come on this podcast, there's better news to share. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on my next podcast. Bye.